The Christmas movie list. You know, the one with the movies that you're watching every single year in December. Yours might be different than mine, and so is everyone else's. But chances are, out of the thousands of movies we could choose from, there are a few select ones that we all have in common. The undisputed classics. The ones that are at this point a holiday tradition. But how come all of them are old? And why is there not a new one? Okay, so first thing first, whether a movie is a classic or not is actually pretty subjective. What is a classic for me might not be for you. But for the sake of the argument, let's agree that a classic, and especially a Christmas one, is a movie that is very well liked by the audience and critics alike, is watched by a lot of people every single year, and last but not least, is very well known, even by people who haven't seen it. So with that in mind, there are some movies we can safely assume are classics. But how did they become that? Because if you think that as long as it's good, people will keep coming back to it, you'd be right. But that is only half the battle. The real answer is that classics don't just happen, but more than anything, they are created. Let's take for example It's Wonderful Life. It is widely regarded as one of the best Christmas movies ever made, and it is absolutely a holiday tradition for a lot of people around the world. That, however, was not always the case, because when it was released in 1946, it was actually a box office failure. And when eventually its copyright expired in the 70s, it wasn't even renewed, which meant that it was now a part of the public domain and TV stations could play it for basically free. Now, considering it is actually a good movie and they could make a lot more money when they play it, it is no surprise that year after year, hundreds of stations all across America were showing it all the time in December. Eventually, people had no choice but to see it, and since it was on TV all the time, they watched it again and again and again, and it slowly but surely it became a classic, the one we know today. Home Alone is probably the biggest Christmas classic of them all. It was a huge success from the very beginning, and while it was popular all around the world, there is no country that knows this better than Poland. See, Home Alone was one of the first Western movies to be shown in the country in the 90s, and on top of that, it was broadcasted by the only nationwide TV station. So, understandably, a lot of people saw it. They kept doing it every single year, and the movie is so beloved in there that one single year when they decided not to show it, there was a protest on Facebook with over 90,000 people demanding they do, which eventually they did.
Serowa pizza, cała dla mnie.
It's not only Christmas either, but the holidays, and one film in particular had managed to become a New Year's classic. See, I moved to Denmark in 2014, and the first time I celebrated New Year's here, the thing that stood out to me the most was that in the final hour of the year, the entire country is watching an obscure short film from the 60s called Dinner for One. It is an 11-minute comedy sketch about Miss Sophie, her butler James, and the invisible guests of her 90th birthday party. It's been a yearly tradition in here since the 70s, and not just in Denmark either, but Germany, where it all started, and increasingly more and more countries around the world. For over half a century now, they've been playing it every single new year, and despite the countless parodies and remakes, people have always demanded the original. And that is the point. What all those have in common, together with the rest of the classics, is that they're very good, but they were also shown to people so much that it was pretty much inevitable for them to become classics. Nowadays, we have the internet and streaming services and so many options that there are almost too many, and it'd be rather difficult for us to agree on one. But the good news is that having that many options also means that you can discover your very own holiday classics, the ones that you love the most because of you. And for everyone who loves movies, that is the best gift we can ask for.